2 minutes gonna wait table 4.
Oui.
Ravioli in. 5 minutes gonna wait table 12, Samaj.
It's 1 minute ravioli.
Right. Wait, 4 navrant to be de jour away, yes? Have that, Simon. 2 minutes gonna wait table 3, yes? Go, please, go. And we go back to Sean, 2, 3, 1 frog's legs, 1 ravioli a la carte, yes?
Hey.
Backs.
Go.
1 treat de jour, 1 salad de jour, we'll see 1 beef, 1 navrant.
Oui. On it. Go. Deux ensemble là. Service.
Oui.
Gordon Ramsay was awarded 2 Michelin stars before the age of 30. 2 years later, he opened his signature restaurant in the heart of fashionable Chelsea. Few people achieve such great success so early in life, but those who do, like Gordon, are often driven by a passionate desire for perfection. Serving perfect food in perfect surroundings is like a theatrical performance twice daily, with the front of house calm concealing furious activity backstage.
It's 20 past 12, obviously a very tense, busy time of the morning. Rusty runs one of the most difficult sections of the kitchen. I call it the hallmark because it's the engine room, cooking fish and meat. And if he's not ready, then we're all stuffed. I concentrate on the sauce with Darren and Mark. Rusty cooks fish to perfection and meat to the ultimate cuisson. What time did you start this morning, Rusty? 7 o'clock. And what was the first thing you done this morning?
Beef. Stocks and sauce on.
Stocks and sauces. And marinated the beef?
Yeah.
Or cooked off the beef? Okay, and we started the mise en place for the trees this afternoon. How many went on?
At 7.
So were you here at 7? Excellent. So there's a 5-hour important mise en place which we structure as our building blocks in order to get ready for 45 covers for lunch. Then of course we have a very short break in the afternoon, which is getting even shorter, which is, thank you Darren, which is even more difficult. And let me just take you round through the sections of the kitchen and show you how we separate each individual section. So starting off here, this is, we call it Rusty's Corner, because it's his corner. It's where he spends 16 hours a day. Cooking fish and meat from here. As you can see, the chauffant's here for poaching fish. For instance, the Navrant today has got sea bass turbot salmon, which is poached in the fish stock. That's served with a very light velouté of... yep, call back in 5 minutes, please, thank you. That's served with a very light velouté of fèves. Here is the sauce section. This young man here has come all the way from Australia, and the quicker you go back, the better. No, that's not true. Darren is a chef de partie of the sauce, commonly known in the kitchen as Logit. I can't go into too much detail why we call him Logit, because it's quite personal. He takes care of the sauce. You're doing here is
basil puree.
Basil puree. So it's made out of
basil puree, olive oil, touch of seasoning, and some
nash. Good. And that serves as a garnish for
the ravioli, langoustine ravioli. Served on the base of the plate with a bit of tomato fondue underneath the ravioli.
Good. Darren makes the raviolis twice a day. It's imperative that these things are totally non-porous. They're made to pure perfection. And in the centre are filled with lobster, langoustine, beautifully seasoned, chervil, and a touch of coriander. This is finishing table. This is where everything gets put together. This is where we all dress. This is where we all meet after 4 minutes. And this is where we congregate 10 of us around these trays to put this food on a plate and send it out. The frustrating part is not this side, it's the other part where the donuts stand holding the trays. And I've had this pass specially designed that Mark can't drag the waiters through the pass. Before, we didn't have the top, and Mark used to pull the waiters across the table and into the kitchen. We can't do that now, so he's barred. Okay, moving alongside to the hot starters. Here is Simone. This is a casualty from the Cordon Bleu cookery school. Spent £9,000, didn't get himself very far, but £9,000, which he got out of his father's pocket, would you believe? He's responsible for sending the muse-scale. And this is like a little small appetizer of pumpkin soup today, served with fresh parmesan and a little slight hint of white truffle oil. That's going to be served as an muse-scale before we send the starters. So Simon's responsible for that. He'll get the first 2 or 3 tables right, then in the middle of service, when we're seriously busy, he'll start messing up and hicking up. But it's early days yet, it's only 12:30. Excuse me. Moving on to the easiest section of the kitchen, that's why we've got the weakest cook on here. His name is Sean, and he's controlling the cold starters. This is a very light brandad, a mousse of brandad, i.e. a mousse of salt cod, which has been aerated with cream, quenelled on the plate, and that's served with some beautiful salad leaves in the centre, garnished with langoustines around the outside, sat on a very fine tomato gazpacho. And we're just quenelling them up now because these things are done to order and they shouldn't stay out in the heat too long, otherwise they start to deflate and they lose their shape. When Sean first arrived, he had problems quenelling, and I used to tell him after service to spend 15 minutes every night doing these beautiful quenelles, and now he quenelles within 2 weeks to perfection, and they're beautiful. But it's interesting how 3 weeks ago he couldn't do it. Now looking at them, they're actually not better than mine, but they're as good as mine. Is that right? See, he reserves comment. Okay. On here we have Owen, who is in charge of the garnish, and he takes care of the hot starters and the garnish, garnishing all the fish and the meat dishes. At the moment we're just finishing a caviar aubergine, which is going to be served with a salad of red mullet for lunch. And how long have you been on the garnish now, Owen? Yeah, 9 months on the garnish. Due very shortly to be going on to the fish, but he's been very naughty over the last couple of weeks, and we're reviewing his position. Is that right? He came from the Savoy, and I think it's quite possible that he may want to go back to Savoy. Is that right? No. That was a joke. That was a joke. He's allowed to laugh before service. So here, Owen, just explain. This is the caviar aubergine. Just explain.
It's the caviar aubergine. We've swarmed through lightly and we've let down with some cream. We add basil to it and just like seasoned.
Yes, and that's aubergines that have been cut in half, seasoned with rock salt, spiked with rosemary, and then baked in the oven. So it's like a proper caviar. Yeah. And then we scrape the insides from the aubergine, chop them up and then dry them out, and then add herbs, coriander, a touch of cream, and that's going to be used for the salad red mullet for today. Aubergine caviar. Next to Owen is Henry, commonly known in the kitchen as Henrietta, because all the guys believe that on Saturday, Sunday he looks like a girl. Turn around, say hello. Hi. Just explain very quickly in 30 seconds what you do on the section exactly, apart from nothing. Very quickly. You assist?
Assisting Owen and garnish.
Garnish. So therefore, as the orders come on, Owen controls the stove, and Henry, behind the scenes, takes out the garnish. So he takes out, and Owen cooks. How long have you been here now, Owen? Henry?
6 months.
6 months. And you came from where?
The place called Euphorium.
The place called Euphorium. Is that in London?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And how long were you there for?
1.5 years.
1.5 years. Did you enjoy it? Good. There we are. And what section are you hoping to go on to after here?
Any section.
Any section?
Yes, sir.
What, even the planche?
Not really.
Not really. Okay. Right, now onto the pastry. I'm coming now. I'll be 2 minutes. This young man here has done an amazing job in such a short period of time, in under 2 years. He's shortly coming into the kitchen next year, early next year. He's now running the pastry. Nathan is 21 or 22 now? 22. Yeah. Came from a place called the White Hart, which is a countrified pub, which is run by a guy called Mark Prescott, which happened to be my old head chef at Gavroche. Nathan, what time did you start in the morning?
Like 7
o'clock. And what was the first thing you done this morning?
Check the creme brulee for normally put them in, then do the pads, things like that.
Can I have a look at the creme brulee now, please? Okay, so this is the creme brulee, which is made out of eggs, vanilla, UHT milk, and we use UHT milk for one simple reason, the fact that because it has such a high content of fat, it doesn't require as many eggs as a normal creme brulee. So therefore the setting agent becomes a lot more apparent. We get away from this horrible eggy texture, and we have this wonderful, smooth, velvet cream in the centre, as you can see, which is lovely. And this is one of the most difficult creme brulees to serve. And the reason being, of course, is we tip it out of the mould. And I remember doing this dish for a competition called Chef of the Year. And Albert Roux's exact words were to me, "You idiot, you never ever turn a creme brulee out of the mould." And ever since he said that to me, I've been so determined to develop a recipe where I can turn out a creme brulee, caramelise it on top, and not serve it in one of those disgusting flat white cellar plan moulds that everybody serves them in. So this has been a hallmark of my repertoire, and it's with a very light Granny Smith jus, served with some dried apples on the outside. Sometimes in the winter we'll put some rhubarb in there, or some mango and some peaches, and as the creme brulee cooks, on the bottom the rhubarb disintegrates into a puree, so we've got this lovely creme brulee with a very fine rhubarb running through. Delicious. Okay, she's right for the wine spectator. Ready, Sean? Wakey, wakey, James. Passion for flavour. It's correct. You know, I'm an extremist, I suppose. You know, it's got to be total perfection. Half measures, halfway house. Send it, they won't know the difference. Send it, the sauce is too thick. I can't. I get so upset. I'm serious now, I swear to God. Start taking a bit more pride. I'd rather go into the dining room myself personally, apologise. I'd start again, put it in the bin, and start the whole thing again. Because I won't be able to forgive myself the following day, knowing full well that I sent something out. How's that roasted tree lamb on Magret gone out? Having touched serious success as a 17-year-old, knowing full well that my life was destined to become professional with football and travel the world, you know, an amazing amount of money, have a great lifestyle. I just had this drive. I suppose it was to do with the fear of failing again for the second time. This is a stuffed chicken breast, which is enhanced by this wonderful chicken mousse. This is a very simple chicken mousse. It's 250 grams of chicken breast, pureed in a Robo Coupe, 400 grams of cream, nicely seasoned, a very slight hint of grated nutmeg in there, just to give it a little boost, and not pureed too long. In the event it's actually pureed too long, it can actually cause this mousse to split. Please be very, very careful. Inside the mousse, we're going to just sort of enhance the flavour with a few chopped chives. And I've taken the fine ends of chives because I always find the bottom of the chives, you know, it's incredibly strong. It tastes too close to the onions, and it's, you know, not very pleasant. So I always take the tip of the chives. Nicely chopped like so, nice and fine, put in straight into the mousse. Alongside that, something a bit more delicate, something with a bit of class. I've got a herb by the name of chervil. Commonly known in many fish dishes in France, garnished very classically, but here today we're just going to put this through the mousse. Take off those ugly stalks, pick the little plouches like so, and then just add the chervil, just fold it up like that in a very rough sort of ball, and then just very casually chop, not bruise, but chop very carefully through. It doesn't have to become fine because we can't chop chervil as fine as we chop chives, because what will happen, it'll actually bruise. We don't want to bruise it, do we? So, into the mousse goes the herbs. I've sautéed some really nice trompette de la mort mushrooms. I've sautéed some girolles and some chanterelles. They've been very, very quickly sautéed in a hot pan, nicely seasoned, left to cool down on a Kleenex paper to absorb all that fat, because if this goes inside the mousse, of course, and there's excess fat, that will cause this mousse to split. We want a nice creamy textured mousse. So mushrooms in to the mousse, and this is a very, very straightforward chicken mousse. And I always find stuffing chicken is incredibly difficult, so if you're going to do it, then do it with a bit of sort of sophistication, a bit of class. Make a very exciting mousse. You can, of course, flavour this with tarragon, some nice flat parsley, Sometimes it's been known to put some grain mustard or some Dijon mustard through the mousse as well. So, mix nicely into a piping bag, hand inside. Make sure it's incredibly dry, because if the piping bag is wet, the mousse will start to slide, and we don't want it to slide. So, in to the piping bag like so, pushed all the way down. At the end of this piping bag, I've got a very thin nozzle, because the essence of stuffing a chicken breast is with discreetness. The fact that this thing is cleverly done. It's not oozing the mousse. It's not done as if it's done by a butcher. It's done with a bit of control, a bit of finesse. We've got a really nice mousse. And now, I believe in stuffing a chicken breast, everything should be hidden. There should be no farce or mousse coming out on top, exposed. Always put your mousse into the center, because that's of course where it's going to take place, to perfume, to enhance the flavor, so we need it to get into the center. With your fillet, just very, very carefully peel your fillet back, because that's what we call the insurance policy, would you believe? I'll show you why. Holding your knife, the tip of the breast, like so, just insert in and then come all the way down. It's important to use a very, very sharp knife to make sure we've got a very clean cut, and we don't want to go through the surface of the breast, so just in, and then of course peel back just to check that we haven't gone through and destroyed the top part of the breast. So this is why we call it the insurance policy. Pull your fillet off to one side, open up your chicken breast, your piping bag, in with your mousse, like so, pipe all the way down, and fold over very carefully, tucking all that excess mousse in. And this is insurance policy. We're going to then bend over the final part of the fillet, and then very carefully just lift the breast over. As you can see, it's not leaking. We're going to roll these chicken breasts, and we're going to roll them in cling film. The reason why we're going to roll them in cling film is to protect whilst we're cooking. And the most important part, whenever you're rolling or stuffing something in cling film, is to wet the surface in order to allow the cling film to stick. So peel back the cling film like so, pull it over your board, flatten it down with your cloth to make sure there's no air bubbles. You'll see why in a minute, because we need this thing to be tight. If we roll the chicken, sometimes we can do this with guinea fowl, sometimes we can do this with duck breast. It's the same method. The most important thing is, of course, is to roll a very tight ballantine to make sure no air is inside and the thing can poach naturally without being burst. If it's not tight, it will cause it to change shape, and we've got this ugly mess by the time we come to cut it out of its wrapping. Chicken breast onto the cling film, like so, very gently seasoned, salt and pepper. Don't worry about turning it over, because we've got this delicate mousse inside, and we keep on handling this and mauling it, we're going to destroy the shape. Of course, if we're going to roll it, it's going to roll in its seasoning anyway. Cling film back, pulling it nice and tight over the chicken breast like so. Fingers, and lightly pull out the chicken breast just to shape it, and continue rolling towards the head of the cling film. About 3 or 4 times, go round so it's well insulated, off, rolled, and then up into the hands, twisted like so, nice and tight, because that's how it's going to come out once it's poached. If it's loose inside that pocket, then it loses its shape. Parts of the mousse can start to fall out, and we're going to just quickly turn this round through the fingers, back, and then just like that, almost doing a knot, and then pushing pulling at the same time. The other end, turn around, straighten up the cling film with your fingers, like so. 2 fingers round, up. Nip it together with your fingers. You can see it's very easy to do this, and I've done about 3,000. I do this every week. Sometimes a dish that appears on the lunch menu. And there we have breast of chicken, which is fussed with the wild mushroom stuffing. It's incredibly discreet, it's very firm, and it's ready for poaching. So the stock that we're going to be poaching the chicken in is lightly boiling. We don't want to boil it fiercely because that can cause the mousse inside to split. Just gently ticking over and place your chicken inside your stock and time for 7 minutes. This whole dish can be done way in advance by rolling this in the morning if you're having a dinner party for 10 or 12 of your guests. Left in the fridge to become nice and firm. Poached 2 or 3 hours before your guests arrive, and then of course reheated 5 minutes before you need it. Okay, now the chicken has been back in the liquor for 3 minutes, and you know it's extremely hot, so we're almost treating it like a hot potato. Off one end, just cut through, just very carefully slide it out of its little bag. Again, slice through, and just very, very carefully push it through. As it's nice and hot, of course, it's going to come out with some ease. The cling film expands, and of course it smells delicious. All those juices are there. You can see where we seasoned it. I start to identify a touch of the mousse and the trompette de l'amour, the black mushrooms. Just a touch on the presentation. Slice off the bottom. Turn it around. Because we're going to the left angle, we're going to slice on the left angle again. Around like so. You can see the breast is firmly intact, and we're just going to slice in half. I don't believe in slicing this into 6 or 7 pieces because it gets cold very, very quickly, and it's nice just to slice in half. Identify the mousse with the presentation and the mushrooms running through. Open it up. You can see the beautiful mushrooms, how moist it is. It's incredibly succulent. It's delicious. You can smell it. You can identify the herbs that's coming through, and onto the plate like so. I set this on a plate like so, so they actually stand on a little bed of cabbage, garnished with the mushrooms, and that's why I slice the bottoms off. They're slightly overcooked at the bottoms, so that's the main reason, of course, why I slice it off, and then just stand them up. And on a plate, it looks delicious. There's the poached chicken, served with a wonderful farce of mushrooms, scented with chervil and chives.
2 minutes.
On peut avoir ça avec de caution parce qu'ils vont vraiment bas. Donc, about the phone, I'm